So, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we start going through the rules one by one. But before we start, have a look at the top part of the screen. I have there the 6 parts of the convention as well as the annexes marked. And using this navigation, you can easily spot at which part of the convention we are currently going at. So it's the orange part, which is what we are currently discussing. Okay? So rule number 1 relates to the application of the convention. And it states that the rules apply to all vessels upon the high seas and all waters connected to the high seas and navigable by seagoing vessels. The rules also allow operation of special rules made by an appropriate authority, such as the National Maritime Administration. These might include, for instance, rules for the country's internal waters. But it's noteworthy that such special rules should conform as closely as possible to the rules in the convention. Now, they mention the term high seas here. High seas refers to oceans, seas, and waters outside national jurisdiction. The Convention on the High Seas, which was signed in 1958, it defined high seas to mean all parts of the sea that are not included in the territorial sea or in the internal waters of a state, and where no state may validly purport to subject any part of them to its sovereignty. Another term used for the high seas is international waters. To simplify things somewhat, we basically have the internal waters, which are waterways such as rivers and canals and small bays, and full national jurisdiction prevails in these areas. Then we have the territorial waters or territorial sea, and these include the internal waters, but also the sea extending up to 12 miles from the baseline coastline. And also in these waters, full national jurisdiction prevails. Then there is the exclusive economic zone, which extends up to 200 miles from the baseline coastline. The state can control the economic resources within this zone, but there are some restrictions on national jurisdiction. For instance, a state cannot prevent passage of a vessel on this zone. And finally, we have the international waters, the high seas, where there is mostly international jurisdiction. Generally, the ships sailing the high seas are under the jurisdiction of the flag state, but international agreements are needed to agree on, for instance, common measures taken to avoid collisions. The high seas are not a small area. They make up of 50% of the surface area of our planet, and they cover over 2/3 of the oceans. So we are actually talking about a vast area of the globe with a huge amount of traffic. And also note that the convention doesn't refer only to the high seas, it also refers to all waters connected to the high seas. So it is really a universal application of the convention with a few minor exceptions.